Hey guys, welcome to the Bin Zone. On today's video, we're going to be discussing a theory about Dark Season 3. Now, this theory is interesting and it comes from essentially watching the teaser trailer, looking at some set images for the third season, and kind of putting two and two together. So without further ado, let's just dive into this theory. Now, this theory is based solely on the fact that Martha 2 and Magnus from that second universe have different hair colors. We know at the end of Season 2, Martha from another universe comes and she takes Jonas. However, she comes the moment Martha from the main universe, Martha 1, is killed by Adam and is laid out on the floor. The first thing we notice is that Martha 2 has a different hair color from Martha 1, and she looks different just in the sense of her presence. Like, she's seen some shit, she's been through some things. Now, we've seen some set photos from Season 3, and we see that in this universe, Martha is essentially Jonas. What I mean by that is that in this universe, everything that happened to Jonas is happening to Martha, in the sense that she has the yellow raincoat, she goes to the cave, she deals with her own universe's version of Adam, which is Eve, a female counterpart, which is her future self. Essentially, everything that Jonas has gone through, like the cycles in his universe, Universe 1, Martha from Universe 2 has gone to the same thing, Martha 2. But now we've been seeing some set photos and we saw the trailer and we see that Magnus has different hair color than the Magnus of Earth 1. Martha and Magnus from Earth 1 have blonde and dirty blonde hair. We see it here, and that comes from their mother and father, Ulrich and Katarina. However, when we go to Universe 2, we see that they have dark black hair, and we know one thing about Universe 2 is there is no Jonas. Because if you remember in the second season, Claudia tells Jonas that she's been to a universe where there is no Jonas, and that's not a universe she wants to have us live in or have, so Jonas needs to be alive. So in that universe, Universe 2, we see in the trailer also that Claudia transports herself to that universe as well. So we know she's talking about Universe 2. In that universe, there is no Jonas. And by virtue of being no Jonas, there is no Mikkel, because Mikkel is the one who goes back to 1986 and gets with Hannah, and they procreate and make Jonas. So without Jonas and Mikkel, there is no Jonas or Mikkel. So that whole dynamic is out of the question. So in this universe, let's assume that in this universe, Hannah, Jonas's mother, ends up with Ulrich. Because we remember in the first and second season, Hannah is madly, obsessively in love, or just obsessed with Ulrich and being with him. Even as back as far as 1986, when they were kids in high school, she was obsessed over him. Even though he was dating Katarina, she wanted to stop at nothing to get with Ulrich. Now, the only reason she doesn't end up with Ulrich is because Ulrich had his relationship with Katarina, and at that point, Mikkel comes into the picture, and I guess him and Hannah begin to form a bond, and they start to get to know each other as we saw towards the end of the first season. And then we know they grow up and they end up together and they have Jonas. But if there is no Mikkel, that means there is no one to distract Hannah from furthering her adventures and furthering her desire to be with Ulrich. And we know that she will stop nothing to be with this man. She even stole the time machine from her own son and traveled back to 1933 to find Ulrich and try to be with him in that time period, forgetting and forsaking everyone else, her own kid, Ulrich's kid, everyone back in 2019, 2020. She was over that as long as her and Ulrich could start a new life in the 30s. So we see that she's a bit obsessive, compulsive when it comes to Ulrich. So there's no reason to stand that she is not the same way in the second universe. But now, without Mikkel to distract her, she has her sole focus on Ulrich. This means that in this universe, Hannah wins. She ends up with Ulrich and they have kids. They have Martha and they have Magnus. As you can see by their hair color, they're not Katarina's kids. Katarina's blonde, and being blonde is a recessive trait. And they don't have that recessive trait. They're brunettes, they're black haired, and Katarina is blonde. However, Martha and Magnus having that hair color is similar to Hannah's hair color, and it kind of goes with the fact that Martha and Ulrich probably end up together and they end up having these kids. Which now brings us to the theory that Martha and Magnus on Universe 2 are the kids of Hannah, just like Jonas is the kid of Hannah in Universe 1. So what significance is this? Let's say this theory is true and Martha is the daughter of Hannah. What makes this interesting is the fact that Hannah is the mother of both Jonas in Universe 1 and Hannah in Universe 2 is the mother of Martha. That means that Hannah might be the key to breaking the cycle of dark, because both her children in two different universes are the time travelers, are the travelers, and are the ones who set forth the machinations of time and dimensional travel in their universe. Because Jonas becomes Adam and he found Sigmundus and he creates the cave, and that becomes a causal loop that never ends, a cycle that always repeats itself, and he's trying to break it. In the same vein, if we flip it based on what we see in the trailer and the set photos, Martha in that universe ends up being Eve, and she creates that cycle, and that universe is Sigmundus, and they are the ones behind the scenes making everything move. Adam and Eve, Jonas and Martha. That means that above them both is Hannah, because that means Martha has a bigger role to play than we all thought. Because remember, at the end of season 2, she leaves 2020 and goes back to 1933. So at that point, she is a part of that lifestyle. We see her living in that era, and she comes from the future. That means that she is the one with the knowledge of the future, and she can shape and manipulate Winden to see fit, and she could be ultimately the mastermind and creating the universe the way it is, because we see that she doesn't care if it affects Jonas or not, because she stole the time machine from him and went back to save Ulrich. The same could be said about Hannah in the second universe. She might not care, or definitely doesn't care about Martha, in the sense that she was willing to do whatever it takes to become the person that she needs to become. So there has to be a key that ties Hannah's genes or something within her that makes her the central catalyst of both these universes. Because remember, this is dark. Everything is connected. Everything has reason. Even right down to the theme song and the intro video, we see that it's two kaleidoscope images of two different worlds colliding. And that means those two universes are connected as well. Is Hannah the cause? Because now we see in two universes that whoever is her offspring is the creator of this loop, is the creator of all these travels, is Adam or is Eve. My theory is that Hannah is the mother of Martha in the second universe, and we already know she's the mother of Jonas in the first universe. So it seems that Hannah is the key to breaking the cycle, because it is her offspring that are the mechanisms, or who cause the mechanisms behind everything that happens in dark. And nothing is to say that Jonas and Martha are not working together to break the cycle. Because remember, Adam killed Martha even though he loves her in Universe 1, knowing that Martha 2 is coming, because he's future Jonas. He knows all the experiences that Jonas and Martha are going to have in the second universe. And if they find a way to break the cycle, it would make sense as to why they're continuing their path and why he becomes Adam. The same way it would explain why Martha from Universe 2 becomes Eve. Because at the age that they're at now, and at this form that they have, they probably came up with a plan to save both of their universes. And that's why they began moving and acting the way they act. And that has to do with Hannah, because they have to find her. Because right now, no one really knows where she went, because she stole the time machine and just went to 1933. Ulrich knows, and we know Ulrich will play a significant role in the final season, because he's been playing a significant role throughout the first 2 seasons of Dark. So Hannah is the key to stopping the cycles in Dark. Anyway, guys, that's my theory. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section below. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.